Hey guys, in today's video, I'm gonna share 3 high-protein breakfast ideas from the easiest 5-minute recipe to an easy 15-minute recipe with the goal of getting you out of your breakfast rut. Let's try something new this week. So first, I'm gonna call this the Almond Toast Crunch. It's basically a power toast that contains 20 grams of protein coming from almond butter, nuts, and seeds. I have a slice of country bread. I like these like hearty ones, and I'm gonna toast it so it's lightly crunchy and warm. So once the bread is nicely toasted, what I'm gonna do is add about 2 tablespoons of almond butter and just slather it on. So I prefer almond butter a little more than peanut butter just because I think that it is a little more nutty and I think it has a slight edge of protein over peanut butter. I also like to add a little bit of seasoning, so I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon and then a drizzle of honey on there. And now we're gonna add all of the beautiful toppings. Some sliced bananas. I tend to like my bananas just barely green still. I feel like it's less sweet and it just has better texture for toast. A little bit of blueberries sprinkled in. We have walnuts that are also really high in protein, and it adds a little bit of healthy fats to complement the almond butter. A nice dash of coconut flakes, and then a little small sprinkling of hemp seeds. So hemp seeds actually pack such a heavy punch because a little bit like this has 10 grams of protein, and then there's omega-3 fatty acids, and then it also has omega-6. So it's just really good for you. And here is our almond toast crunch. Believe it or not, I've actually bought this very same exact toast at this beach cafe shack for literally $12. This did not cost me $12 to make, but it's gonna be just as good, if not better. The combination of almond butter with cinnamon, a little bit of honey, and bananas go together so well, but then you get that burst from the blueberries and then the crunch from the walnuts. Like I said, this contains about 20 grams of protein, but if you wanted even more protein, you can pair it with Greek yogurt or my next one, which is a cherry chia seed pudding. This cherry chia pudding was actually inspired by Sofia Richie's new Erewhon smoothie, except this one is not gonna have those extreme health ingredients like colostrum or calm powder, whatever those are. But you will get 34 grams of protein in this whole bowl that we're gonna make. And when I pair it with the Greek yogurt for your parfait later, you're gonna get 3 to 4 breakfasts out of this. And I promise you, it's not gonna cost $21 like it would for one smoothie. Okay, so what we're gonna need is a blender, and to that I'm gonna add 1 cup of frozen cherries, and then we're gonna add a little bit of frozen pineapple just like she does, and then 1/4 of a ripe avocado. I'm not sure how much avocado they put in this smoothie, but theirs retain a very nice pink color, so I don't want to muddy it up. To sweeten it up, I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of maple syrup, and then I noticed that they're using almond milk and coconut cream in there, so I'm just gonna make it easy and use coconut milk. 1 cup of that, and then we're gonna blend it up like a smoothie. If you wanted to add even more protein to the chia seed pudding, you can definitely add a scoop of vanilla protein powder to this mixture. So I find that pouring the liquid into the bowl first keeps the chia from clumping up. I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of chia seeds and give it a mix, mix, mix. Okay, it's basically like a big smoothie bowl. Just make sure that every single chia seed is submerged completely in the mixture so you don't get crunchy seeds later. But now I'm gonna pop it in the fridge and let it hydrate and bloom overnight so it becomes nice and jelly pudding-like. Lucky for you guys, I made this ahead of time, and by the looks of it, it kind of lost a little bit of coloring. Basically, the liquid absorbed into the chia pudding and it just looks like this. But now I'm gonna show you how I create the parfait. So into a cup or a bowl, I like to use this glass right here because it shows all the layer, but I'm gonna add vanilla Greek yogurt at the bottom, kind of like to mimic Sofia Richie's smoothie. And then right on top of the Greek yogurt, a generous dollop of our cherry chia seed pudding. To add even more crunch and interest to the parfait, I'm gonna add some granola. I'm using just like regular vanilla granola here. And then we're gonna top it with some fresh strawberries. If you can find fresh cherries right now, that would be really good too, but strawberries add just as much flavor. This looks beautiful and kind of reminiscent of her smoothie. Gotta get every single layer in there. If you've never added granola to your chia pudding, I highly suggest that. But also, the cherry flavor when paired with the pineapple and then the creaminess of the avocado, I somehow think that it just brings out more of the flavor of the cherries in there, and it's so deliciously sweet and very satisfying. Tastes like a smoothie, fills up like breakfast. Now I'm gonna make an avocado toast that's anything but basic. This is basically an avocado caprese toast, but instead of using mozzarella, I'm gonna infuse it with protein and make whipped cottage cheese. I know you either hate cottage cheese or you love it, but this has 19 grams, and this whole toast breakfast is gonna have about 15 grams of protein. So first in my blender's cup, I'm gonna add this whole cup of cottage cheese in there, sprinkle it with some salt and pepper, a little bit of olive oil to get it moving, and then we're gonna whip it up until it's nice and creamy and you don't see any more of the cottage cheese curds. And I think that's what grosses me out the most about cottage cheese are the curds, so I can do this. Now if it's too thick or gets stuck, just add a little bit of milk to get it moving. Okay, so once that's done, set it aside, and then we're gonna work on our avocado. I like to peel my avocados, it makes it a little easier. And then just kinda cut it. And then with the fork, just smash it down. And then I'm just gonna season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. Just make sure it's all seasoned and mashed in. And now comes the fun part. You don't have to do this, but I like piping the cottage cheese right on top of the avocado toast because it just looks like a cloud and it makes a really beautiful base for the tomatoes and basil. But basically just scoop all of the cottage cheese in here. I need to get a smaller blender for a small job like this. Okay, the cottage cheese is nice and creamy. So we're basically gonna snip off the end of the piping bag. I'm gonna basically pipe it on in this swirly pattern to make it look like a whipped cloud. This is where all the protein is. And then I'll just quarter off my cherry tomatoes and cut up the basil and top it on the toast. I love the little strands of basil, like the thinner the better. And then I just like to finish it off with some balsamic vinegar and a drizzle of olive oil. I mean, this reminds me of a burrata type of caprese where it's like creamy in the center. But then if you guys wanted even more protein, I think this one would go really well with a fried egg. Although technically the egg would be a cooked recipe, but that's okay. This toast is definitely more of a fork and knife toast, and we might as well just dip it in the yolk. This screams brunch. Pair this with like a mimosa, perfect weekend breakfast. But it's also easy enough to make on the weekday too. I hope these high protein, no cook breakfast inspires you to try something new this week. And if you do, always tag me on Instagram @Honeysuckle, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.